Yeah, I'm up early with the birdies, ready to get dirty. This ain't a podcast for you if you're asleep at 5:30. I rise like the sun. I'm trying to make a living. Boss man stripping. My overtime strong. I pay him no attention. Money in the mason jar. Country boy pension. Burp, burp.
I love it. Yes. That's our first freestyle. I love it.
That was good, man. That was Mario. That was really good. Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to talking to you now. I love a man that can freestyle.
What are we going to talk about today, Mario?
Construction, electrical.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a lot to talk about. So we have Mario, and your handle is @electrical_local_69.
That's right.
You're an electrician.
I'm an electrician.
Licensed.
Yes.
Non-union.
Non-union.
Great. We've got a lot to talk about.
That's so
but you have a history before that. You were in concrete and asphalt.
I did. I started construction probably when I was in high school.
Okay.
I worked for like a little general contractor, doing basements, that sort of thing.
We got a lot to get into. I want to talk a lot about his stuff. Yeah. But first we have
History with Manny.
It's actually a little bit of factual today. I want to ask you gentlemen, Mario, and Carlito, of course. Why are they called trade jobs?
Dum, dum, dum.
They stem from jobs that were skilled-based and good-producing jobs like a blacksmith. That's where the term trade job came from. A tradesperson, skilled tradesperson, or tradie refers to a worker who specializes in a particular occupation that requires work experience, on-the-job training, and often formal vocational education, but not a bachelor's degree. So I want to ask you guys, again, Mario, Carlito too, you can participate in this. What are the 4 main sectors of skilled trades?
4 main sectors.
I didn't know there was 4.
There are 4, by the looks of both your faces, and mine too, because I don't know this stuff.
No one can see
I
this.
just collect, right? The 4 sectors of skilled trades are construction, industrial, motive power, and service.
I would have never got any of those right.
I know. So blue collar, this goes to you, because I know, Carlito, you have talked a lot about blue collar.
Well, I do a lot of blue collar.
Where did that term come from and when?
I'm assuming it was a factory job, possibly.
The uniforms?
Manual labor, coined in the early 1920s, often at an hourly wage job. Mainly blue-collar jobs demanded highly skilled workers such as plumbers, electricians, and plant operators.
We're missing that a lot in these trades now. No one's dressing like that anymore.
I need to ask you, gentlemen, what is the smartest trade out there? It's a bit of a trick question on
electricians.
Today. Yeah.
Wow, I would have thought engineers.
Hands down are the smartest trade. What are the highest paid trades out there?
Got to be concrete.
Licensed practical nurse is at the top of the list.
Interesting.
HVAC follows. Home inspector.
What?
Are you kidding me, man?
No way. That's wrong.
Followed by plumber, followed by electrician, then landscape designer, boil maker. Then we come back to hospitals, respiratory therapist. What is the hardest trade, according to other contractors?
To other contractors, Canadian or American?
This is Canadian. These are all Canadian. I'm sorry to the American listeners, but this is all Canadian. The hardest working trade to other contractors are electrical and HVAC.
Wow.
They say it's because it's the hardest to learn, and that's why it makes it the hardest. Flooring is a close second to them.
Yeah, I have a different opinion and all that.
Yeah.
But
I know. And then again,
framing,
carpentry.
concrete.
I think that should have been phrased differently.
I
When
know.
you say hardworking, most educated, yes, I could see how electrical and engineer and so on.
Yeah.
But when it comes to hard work, lugging rebar and forms and concrete, I just hired another concrete guy, and these guys are minimum $850 a day. So
Listen, I'm just pulling this information from the web. That's all I'm doing, okay? I'm just letting you guys know. I just find it interesting when I was pulling all this stuff that a lot of it was pointing to electrical.
it's amazing.
A lot of it, electrical and HVAC.
I'm surprising there's no plumbers in there.
Well, no, plumbers on the list too. It's in there as well. But we kind of know this, right? You need to know your stuff when it comes to those 3 particular trades.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You need to know. So that was
History with Manny.
On with the show with Mario, who's graciously at Skylux Studios.
Thank you.
Skylux Roofing with Mark. Thank you very much for letting us all home away
Always
from
have
home.
to do a shout out for Mark.
It's great. And Mario was so kind enough to bring some vino.
Oh, no.
We are very appreciative of that. And anybody else
Wait a
who's
second.
coming onto the show.
And for the listeners, since you can't see Manny, he is drooling right now.
I'm staring at the bottle, man. I'm thirsty. I've been
It's
out
not
in
gonna
the
last.
sun.
It's not gonna last.
I don't.
It's not.
I'm
You're
looking
totally
at,
right.
It might crack. We'll hear a little bit. But yeah, so thank you very much, Mario, for bringing that. Thank you, Mark, for Skylux.
Yes, thank you very much, Mark. But I did want to mention for the guys out there, Manny just came in with a whole bunch of new cups. Oh, you don't want to talk about that, eh?
No, there's official
Well, I'm
construction
looking
life.
at the wine and I'm looking at the cups. So.
There's official Construction Life coffee and espresso cups, and we'll figure out how people are going to get these particular items. And they're actually pretty nice, eh?
Cool.
They are pretty nice. But on with the show with Mario. So let's talk about, you started in high school?
I started in high school. So in the
And what made you
summertime-
want to get into construction?
I think like most people, you usually start because you know somebody, right? And
In
then
the family or a friend?
friend.
Okay.
Well, in my family too. I mean, my brother. I mean, the list goes on, right? But you get a job with somebody, and then you kind of like it. Working with the right people is always important, right? You got to work with a ball buster.
Totally.
Right off the start.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
You learn.
Right.
Learn the hard way
You're gonna
first,
learn.
and then
That's
it's
right,
easy
that's right.
after that.
You know what I mean? Because you're a product of your environment, right? So if you work with somebody that unfortunately isn't very good, then that's what you're going to learn, right? So anyways, he
right.
was a great gentleman. I learned a lot. I went to high school, did my thing, whatever, then ended up doing concrete for my brother, which was good and bad, right?
I would never work with family. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I
No,
wouldn't.
it's good. The thing is you got to get in shit for the shit that you do, and you got to get in shit for the other people's shit that they did, right? 'Cause, yeah,
Your family.
that's right.
It's true.
It's easier to talk to you than it is them, right?
That's right.
So after that, I mean, I just wanted something. It's hard work, man. Working outside, it's hard work,
Yeah.
right? It's seasonal. I kind of never liked the seasonal aspect of it because in the wintertime you get bored, and being bored isn't good. So then I decided to do something else, got into electrical. And
What
that's
would
pretty
you
much
guys
it.
do in the winter times?
I would find work, and then there's unemployment, right?
Okay, so then you got into electrical after that.
And then I got into electrical. I've been with the same guy ever since. And,
Oh wow! So how long after high school, after concrete?
I was probably 27, so probably another 7-8 years after high school. I did
Wow.
concrete for about 5 years.
It's a long haul, man.
Yeah,
And now how long you been a Sparky?
12 years.
12 years now.
Yeah.
And mostly commercial, resi, industrial.
No, we do everything. Residential is all pretty much custom homes or the odd service call.
You want to
And,
do a shout out to the guy that you work for or anything like that?
Yeah, maybe later.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, yeah. I mean, it's B&R Electric.
Okay.
Barry, great guy, man. Mostly custom homes that we do, and then commercial and industrial, a lot of service, high-rise buildings. So
Condos.
When did you
Condos.
find the time to go back to school?
I never went to school for the electrical part. I just started working. I knocked on his door, got a job, and just started working.
Wow.
And then did the apprenticeship. You know what I mean? You go to school as you work.
How many
Wow,
hours
good
again
for
is
you,
it for
man.
electrician?
9,000.
9,000 for electrician.
That's right.
Wow, that's a lot of hours, dude.
It's twice as many.
Yeah.
Well, a little less than twice than.
What we talked
bricklayer.
about is like framers.
Is
Yeah,
it-
it's 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
depending on how much hours you can get.
How was
And if
that
anyone will
experience?
give it to you.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah. I mean, the school is obviously, I mean, I'm sure it's changed slightly from the time I was there, right? There's more emphasis now in renewable energy, right? So solar, that's
Yeah,
coming.
you guys are doing a bunch of stuff now. Like you guys are all low voltage stuff. Like it's a
Yeah.
different world now.
Things are changing, yeah, for the better.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
electric cars, it's a big thing now. Or it's starting
Because
to
it's
become.
coming into the code where you now have to start parking the charging stations in the garages now, right?
Yeah, that's not electrical, though. That's building code.
That's
It
part of the
hasn't-
building code.
What?
That hasn't caught up to the electrical.
I thought that
Yeah.
was part of ESA.
No.
Can we
The-
talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to have a dedicated. Well, you don't have to have a circuit there. You just got to have a means to get there. So a conduit.
So you just
or
run a
what.
conduit for now.
For now.
And if a homeowner wants to do it later on, or if they get an electric vehicle, they can
Yeah.
operate it from there.
So yeah,
What's required with that? You
just
gotta
a conduit from the panel.
What
to
are you
the
bringing?
garage.
What voltage are you bringing over there?
Don't bring nothing. You just bring a conduit, empty, and then later, 1 inch, and then later on you can pull the wires as you need.
What do you rent? Like, what are they asking for? I don't even know. Like, I don't own an electric car, but what are they asking for? 40 amp?
For electric cars?
Yeah.
it varies.
It depends, huh?
It depends on the charger. I mean, you can do it with a 120 15 amp circuit.
Okay.
It's just going to take you, all day to charge.
Yeah, I have an electric bike. It takes
Yeah.
8 hours to charge.
That's right. Yeah, and then you got your Tesla, which is, you can run it up to 100 amps, which is
Wow.
It's
Just
a lot
to
100
charge
amps.
it?
to charge it. Yeah,
100 amps.
100 amps.
But that's super fast charging.
Yeah, that's probably 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
I would
Still
say.
that long.
Yeah.
100 amps. That's dangerous, is it not?
Well, it'll be the same as having a service for most houses, right? So,
Yeah, so the service for the whole house is charging a car.
Yeah, that's when you got to obviously do the calculations, and you may or may not have to upsize the service depending on what it is, right? The good thing with the Tesla one, you can dial it down. So you can go anywhere from 40 to 100 so it suits the house, right? So the homeowner doesn't have to necessarily spend the extra amount to upgrade their service. We can just dial down the charger so that way it fits within its...
So it doesn't pop any circuits.
That's right, yeah.
Pretty cool that you guys are setting that up. Or I didn't know that was building code.
And how much money does that save a homeowner?
That's a loaded question, dude. We don't.
No. Like, I have no idea. Like, I have a good friend of mine. He says it costs him $1 to get to work. And he drives a Tesla.
It costs him $1.
Yeah, he says it's the price of a coffee. Now, I don't own one.
That's sick, man.
How's that cup of coffee in winter?
Yeah, but it's $150,000 to start, right?
Well, they're not cheap. Yeah. You're paying for the fuel up front, I think.
With the car.
With the car.
You're paying for the fuel up
I don't know.
Like a Tesla's double the price, right?
Yeah, triple the price in my eyes.
I mean, nice, you got a nice screen, but it's still, you're paying.
And you can sleep while you drive.
And you can sleep while you drive.
I still wouldn't
You can
trust
get
it.
in as much more work, right?
I would. So I guess that we're bringing a lot of power to garages now because Ontario Building Code, I guess in Toronto, they also approved last year or the year before, I think it was the laneway houses. So we're running power, we're running plumbing, we're running everything. So you guys are doing any of those? Have you come across any of those?
I haven't come
Not
across.
yet.
No.
I haven't built one yet. I'm dying to build one. We're doing the bunkie build right now. So we actually
Which
brought
is crazy,
a 40
dude.
amp service to it.
When you say laneway, does it mean where the garages are?
Yeah.
So you take out the garage, you can put a little house?
You put a house on top of the garage. So you have access. So you basically put a coach house. And so you've got
That's
an apartment right above the garage. But it has to be a separate service. It can't be tied to the main service, right?
Because you're assuming they're going to rent it kind of thing?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
That's the best way to do it. I've always
right.
been a fan of splitting the meters, right? So,
Absolutely.
Well, with property taxes going up, and what a better way to make some extra money to pay some bills, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's unused space, right?
Yeah.
You just go up.
Why is the building code not allowing us to put, like, why isn't it mandatory to put batteries and solar panels in, but they're making it mandatory to run conduit for cars?
the governments are
question.
trying to get everybody
Yeah.
to stop using vehicles.
I know, but I just think that with
Combustible
storms and with power outages, it would be nice to have, like, make it mandatory to at least
Well, that's
have
why you start
two.
doing battery backups.
Yeah.
Yeah, battery backup generators. I mean, there's companies out there that do the solar, right? They'll rent your roof. I mean, I don't think it's a good.
Is that
It's good
worth
for the
it?
homeowner,
Like I don't know. Is it worth it? Like, have you hooked up the solar panels and connected them and had
No,
the
we've
meter?
never done solar panels.
You
no.
haven't done that, eh?
No.
I know some guys have done it.
That's like its own industry.
Yeah,
pretty much,
that's all they
That's all
focus
do,
on.
yeah.
But I mean, with the solar panels, you got to restructure the roof. You can't just put the panels on it. Then you
Yeah.
got to get hydro involved because
That's right.
you got to change your meter base and you got to get, and then now you're giving power back into the system.
That's right.
But you can't give back all your power. You can only give us. I don't know what there's specifics about.
Yeah,
it.
there's rules and obviously like anything else, regulations. Yeah.
Sorry, you got us sidetracked there from the things that you do.
Yeah.
We got excited about Teslas there.
Don't worry, nobody's ever going to see a Cybertruck on the road.
It's coming.
Not, I don't know. I heard too. They got big rigs now.
Go ahead.
Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out.
The whole back will be the batteries.
Yeah. No
So where are
joke.
you going to put the 2x4s? Where are you going to put the bags of cement?
I think it'll be more efficient than that.
You'll be able to
Yeah.
fit. I don't know.
Listen, Tesla said that you can power anything through what is it now? 5G. You can get power. You can.
The satellites?
Yeah.
Or not the cell phone
The
thing?
cellular?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
said there's
You can
enough
run power
power
through
there
there?
that's running through the air now.
That's
I'll
giving us
ask Josh.
coronavirus.
You never know, man. You never know.
I'll ask Josh tomorrow. I'm seeing him from OnHype.
Yeah, do that.
I'll pick his brain about that. All right, let's get back to electrical. So you've been 12 years?
12 years.
Sparky. What do you like about electrical?
I mean, what I enjoy, what I do is it's different every day, right? And, I'm not a guy that stands still. So construction, fits that well, right? And then it's just a nice job, man. Everything is different. There's a lot of thinking a lot of the times. I mean, not all the time.
Calculating.
But, problem solving for most of the part, yeah.
Yeah.
Figuring things out. Like any of the other trades, right? I mean, I really do enjoy my the custom homes just because I enjoy construction, right? And we get to do some nice
Aren't the clients changing their mind a lot where they thought they wanted a fixture or a light, and then all of a sudden we're finishing and they're asking you to make a new hole now? That never happens.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. The drawing of the biggest one's the kitchen, right?
Oh yeah.
The drawing that you start with the kitchen doesn't even look like the one that comes out after.
So what are the things that get changed in a kitchen that you see over and over again?
But wait, who are you dealing with in the kitchen? Are you dealing with the homeowner or the designer when it comes to?
It varies on the contractor we work for.
Okay.
Some contractors, there's no homeowner, there's no designer. It's strictly him. So we talk to him, he deals with it, and then he gives you an answer, which I prefer. Because then he filters out a lot of the nonsense, right? Because he has experience.
People talking to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's talk about some rules, because I've always had these discussions about kitchens because it's such a working, and you're right, it's the most demanding electrical functionality. So your ovens, your stoves, your microwaves, your dishwasher, all those appliances, range, all that stuff, right? But also lighting. There's three types of lighting in a kitchen at any given times, right? So you've got your task lighting, you've got your overall ambient lighting, and then you've got accent lighting details that you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming a lot of people are going down the road of LED, and they're not doing the puck lights anymore. They're doing full strips, and they're embedding them underneath the cabinetry now, so they're hiding them. Gone are the days of valances. We don't do that shit anymore. You run us through. So, what are some of the new stuff? And what I want to know is, I've always had the argument about where to put those pot lights. I know most electricians like putting them in the ceiling where they're symmetrically balanced on the ceiling surface, but I've come across designers and other homeowners that want the light source to determine where the light's going to go. What are your thoughts on that?
That's the best way, probably. I mean, you got to take into consideration that obviously aesthetics always matter, the way the pot lights look in the ceiling. But you also have to take into consideration that the person is going to be working on the counter. Yes. So they can't have just because it might look a little bit nicer to have the lights behind them, it's not going to do its purpose, right?
Yeah.
You got to have them in front. So closer to the cabinets is always better. Where you run into sometimes problems is, there's going to be a crown. Is it a 6-inch? Is it an 8-inch? Is it a 12-inch?
As long as you get that information.
No, you're right.
That's right.
But
usually no one knows. And sometimes you think there's going to be a crown, so you space it out, and then the kitchen shows up, there is no crown. Now you're 6 inches too far out.
And you could have moved it closer, and it would have been better. Because I'm in the same mindset. Yeah. I'm more about functionality. I mean, they designed these lights to disappear in the ceiling. Yeah. First and foremost, that white and the trim and everything is designed, and even some of them are actually all trimless now. They're all being embedded into the actual drywall. Yeah. So those light fixtures are actually designed to disappear, but the light source, I really need it at a specific point.
Yeah, like I said, you got to be in front of or right above where the person is going to be working. Otherwise, and you're going to cast shadows.
But not over their head, because you could be heating their head up.
Yeah, well, with LEDs now, I mean, the heat is minimum, right?
And here's another problem, though. Guys are now replacing old pot lights with more LED lights, but that's also wrong because the circuit can't handle it, right?
Well, the circuit should be fine. Obviously, you always have to figure out. I mean, if you go LED, you're always going to be using less wattage than you were previously.
Doesn't the ESA, you still have to determine, 12 per circuit?
If you do lighting, like if you do pot lights and there's only strictly pot lights and you're doing LEDs, then you can calculate the full circuit.
Based on wattage consumption.
Based on what that pot light is going to consume. But it has to be just that pot light. As soon as you mix another light fixture or another plug,
they won't approve it.
Then you got to do the 12s.
That makes sense.
So it's not 15 items, it's 12 items.
It's 12 items, yeah.
Okay.
See, I knew that, eh?
Yeah.
But if you have a room, but if you have a room with the same circuit and there's 22 pot lights in there, then you can, as long as they're LEDs and as long as
22 pot lights in there.
Kidding.
But now every circuit is 1,500 watts, right?
1,200 watts.
1,200 watts?
Yeah,
is that how it's going?
Okay. You tested them?
I'm finding out. No, because there's a lot of people have these theories, and I'm now getting. I just want to get facts, right? So, like, every time you talk to somebody has like another way of pushing a couple more on the circuit, or adding this or adding that.
There, you know what I mean?
You hook up a vacuum cleaner, and then, boom.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go downstairs to the basement.
You bring up a good point. Do you like arc fault receptacles?
I don't mind them.
But you can't plug a vacuum into them.
You can't plug in power tools into them, but you can.
No power tools.
Yeah.
Chop saw, table saw, a vacuum.
Those are arcing as you're
But
chopping, right?
what's the consumption of a Dyson vacuum? Is it 15 amps?
I've never had a problem with the Dyson vacuum.
They plug, they're fine.
They're plugged, they're fine. I know certain microwaves, they don't
really?
work. They don't work well with arc faults.
So is that the code that you have to have it on an arc fault?
Any plug, you have to have an arc fault. So as soon as you put a plug in for the microwave, it's arc fault.
Every plug nowadays?
Minus, the kitchen counter and kitchen islands.
Those have to be 20 amp GFIs.
GFIs, yeah.
Why do you do that?
The arcs?
Yeah.
It's for fire.
You're saying if I have a bad broken ground on it?
If there's arcing with it, it's usually like a lot of the fires, apparently, according to what they say anyways, it happens mostly in bedrooms, and it's usually like table lamps and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it started in the bedroom.
That
change started in the bedroom.
And then they just brought it out to the whole house.
But is that because of the ground, or is that just...
It's just going to be the wire itself. It can be whatever you have plugged. Right now, before they used to be just the arc fault only protected up to the plug, and now they're a series parallel arc fault, so they protect after the plug as well. So if you plug in the bad extension cord...
You never seen those old lamps that sometimes you would plug in and you touch the wire and the wire is really hot?
Yeah.
Like the zip cord
feels like
wire.
it's gonna melt.
The extension cords that aren't solid, right? They're strands.
Just two strands.
They're strands.
Flat.
And then as you start messing, over time, it breaks the strands. So it's not a solid connection. So it's arcing in there, which causes heat, which causes fire, right? So that, the breaker will pick that up and trip before it.
Would it be safe to say that if you're putting a microwave in, it should be on its own circuit?
The microwave should be, yeah. That
But
goes
it's
without
not
question.
code. It's not code, but a good electrician would put it on a separate circuit.
No, it's code.
It is code.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the kitchen, basically, everything is a separate circuit.
It has to be.
It has to be, yeah.
Otherwise, you can't operate. I mean, most kitchen appliances require 20 amps.
Well, fridge wouldn't be, would it?
Yeah. Fridge.
Really?
Hood
Yeah.
fan, especially the,
Your dishwasher. Everything.
You put, these nice homes, they got some big hood fans.
Yeah, it's
Sure
sucking
do.
out like
Yeah,
1,200
right.
CFMs, man,
Yeah,
or
they're
even
like
more.
almost commercial fans.
Yeah, and they'll
Yeah.
just basically, you'll feel the air going through there.
Yeah, so you got to make sure that you're not going to have problems, right?
So how many circuits would you say go into a kitchen? Independent circuits.
Well, you're going to have at least the counters, 2 of them, at least 2 for the counters. You're going to have the dishwasher, you're going to have a fridge, you're going to have a fan, you're going to have the kitchenette. So what do we have, 5, 6 at least? Stove.
7.
If they got a coffee, one of those built-in Miele coffee
oh,
machines.
yeah, they're nice.
So you're
the warming drawer.
So every
it goes on.
contractor or
Yeah.
homeowner should know that they should have at least 8 separate circuits just independent for their kitchen.
Yeah, you need a list. Like if you're building a kitchen, you got to have a list of your appliances.
It's funny when I go to older houses and I put a vacuum in and I'm working on a tool while working with a tool, and then all of a sudden the whole kitchen, the bedroom goes out, and the living room.
Yeah. The fridge, the basement, the TV.
Yeah.
Half the house is out.
Yeah, but Mario, you bring up a good point. It's not so much that you just need a list. You need actual specs of every single appliance, so then you know what the amperage is on each appliance.
Yes, absolutely.
Because then you guys can design things. Because I know lately a lot of guys have been working in custom homes, and a lot of clients are on the cusp of maxing out at 200 amps, and then you start having that conversation about should we upgrade to 400 amps, which becomes
that's
commercial.
crazy, man.
No, but it's true though. You add a pool, you add a sauna, you add the whole basement, you rent out the basement, you start going past 200 amps.
You want to bring all that power in from the city.
I'm not saying me. I'm saying people in general are consumption like this electrical. But honey, drive the Tesla.
Okay, so let me ask you. I have a house with 200, and I want to bring another 200 amps. That's 2 more lines, right?
Yeah.
What is that?
Each 400.
400.
Yeah.
So how much extra am I going to pay to bring a line in on that?
Well, you'd have to. It's a whole new service. You have to get hydro involved.
That's Toronto Hydro.
Yeah. You're looking at least over double.
I thought it was about 10 grand, wasn't it? Just to get that
it
upgrade?
could be, yeah. It's
I want to talk about the numbers
service,
for
right?
Well, that's
listeners
Toronto
to
Hydro,
listen
though.
to, right?
Toronto Hydro does that. Electricians just show up to actually make the change.
So do you call Toronto Hydro or there's a homeowner?
Depends. It could be either or. There's going to be the fees, right? So it's either your electrical contractor pays the fees up front for you, and then you pay him, or you pay the fees up front with the hydro. Same thing. It's like when you build a custom home, right? And you got to pay to put the pole, that $2,000 or $3,000, whatever.
Yeah, same with the water service. You're paying 11 grand to do the curb cut and to run your new 1-inch copper and also your 6-inch waste.
Yeah.
You have to pay that as a homeowner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Once you cut the curb, man, that's
Yeah.
it. And you can only go with the city.
Well,
Even to-
this is electrical, so let's just stick to that.
I'm just
okay?
sticking with that, but we're talking about the city gouging us is what I'm talking.
It adds up with just the city. I mean, you want to do a panel change and you call the city just to pull the meter or hydro to pull the meter, you're looking at $1,000 for them to show up.
Yep.
Right?
What does it cost for a panel change from 100 to a 200 amp service?
You're probably looking at about three to
3,000?
four, depending on
I've always
what
heard it
is.
about $3,500 to $4,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, because
I remember the good old days, $1,000.
Like I said, $1,000 won't even get you hydro there anymore.
Yeah, I know,
At the good
no
old
joke.
days, you can pull your own meter.
I was going to ask you, Mario. So a painter friend of mine sent me a baseboard with a receptacle in the baseboard, but no plate. Do you like these?
I love them on the baseboard.
No, but no plate.
Oh, well, yeah,
So
that's another
basically,
story.
if there's an issue with that receptacle,
Yeah,
you kind of remove the baseboard to get to the box.
Oh wow! Usually,
It's one of those where it's literally trimless.
Yeah, I don't know. The ones I've seen have always...
I've never seen that. No.
But I mean, I started thinking, I go, that makes no sense, and I don't
Yeah.
like it because if there's an issue, then I need the electrician to get in there and work it. But I guess
Yeah.
if you remove the receptacle out and you can still access the box inside there, you're not damaging the finishing.
You could
Yeah.
also put F16 clips in, right?
Yeah. I mean, we do a lot of them in the baseboards, but obviously the baseboard goes up first, then our boxes go in afterwards.
Yeah, you do the surface mount boxes. That's how I've done it before.
Yeah.
And why do you like the baseboards more than the wall?
Clean.
Clean. Yeah.
It's called
Old
wall
school.
acne, is what I
Yeah.
heard. I heard it's a term
Then,
called wall
I know,
acne.
but-
Then when they do the wallpaper, there's not a a
Yeah,
nice,
but the way I look at it is you have kids,
yeah.
soccer balls, toys are hitting the baseboards first.
But they're durable. It's wood.
I know, but it's lower, more chances of something going into the sockets. I just
mean,
find that
now
16
they're tamper
inches.
resistant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's
Yeah,
a
that's the
personal
other thing.
preference.
They're all TRs, right?
Yeah, they're
Every
all
single
TRs,
one now.
yeah.
So you got to shove it in there to make sure you.
Yeah, I mean, if they're more of a cheaper plug, then you got a little bit of a, or if it gets.
I still have problems with them. Sometimes I'm
Yeah.
trying to put my
Yeah,
plug in. I'm
yeah,
like,
sometimes
bastard.
it don't work.
You know what, Mark? Let's talk about brands. I want to talk. So, what do you like? Do you like Leviton? Do you like Lutron? Do you like? What do you guys like to work with?
I like Lutron when it comes to screwless cover plates.
Ooh.
Who the hell is still using screws on plates?
Well, I mean,
You wouldn't.
yeah,
I'm still putting them up. Like,
Seriously?
Yeah, when I'm doing drywall and painting, I'm still.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and
Gone are the days of making those two flat screws.
I know,
one
but
way.
the one thing I love about it is, and this is what I loved about electricians. I always knew an electrician was good is when he would take the screw and line them all up straight up.
Yeah.
and I'd be like, this guy loves his job.
but then what way do you go? Horizontal, vertical?
See, that's a question.
Yeah.
Which way do you go?
Because you got two different guys. They don't talk. They both start one at the top, one
Vertical.
at the bottom, and then they.
You go vertical?
I'll go vertical.
Are you kidding me?
Why?
I prefer vertical too, but most I find like I bet you're horizontal.
I vary depending. Like I don't know what it is. Like if it's a plug, I kind of like to go up and down, kind of to match
Vertical.
to match the plug. If it's a switch, I go horizontal. I don't know. I'm like my brain.
So if the switches are horizontal and
yeah,
plugs
wow, that's the.
are, what
my
if
brain
it's a
says,
4-gang switch?
I try to fight that
4-gang
urge.
switch. Is it vertical?
It's vertical. Yeah.
Most guys I know are horizontal, man.
Really, eh?
Anybody under the age of 20, whatever, 25 is vertical.
You
It's
know,
horizontal.
It's funny because when I do backsplashes, that's one of my final touches. I'm not an electrician, but I always have to put the plates back on with longer screws. Sometimes I'll put my own box
and
extensions
by the way,
on.
code-wise, you have to extend the box
Yeah, I
in
just
that
said
situation.
Well, I put my own box extensions.
Just saying.
Which everyone should know to do. What is the actual rule for distance between plugs? Like everybody says 6, 9, 12 feet apart.
12 feet.
So
From plug to plug.
minimum is 12. But you know what? I
No,
think
no. Max is 12.
Max, sorry. Max
No,
is 12?
Minimum is
Or
12?
max. Sorry.
Max
they
is
can't
12.
be further
And
than
minimum
12.
is what? 6?
There is no minimum.
Okay. There is no minimum.
The 6 foot is, so basically, we got that door there. You go 6 feet from the door, boom, plug. 12 feet from that plug, another plug.
And you
12
work your
feet,
way
and
around
then
the
you
whole
work
room.
around. If you want to stick to, bare minimum code.
What were you told? How is it done in
No,
Croatia?
I've been bouncing. They don't in
then,
Croatia.
there's
they
other
don't use like
rules.
electricity.
The fire starter.
It's a guy outside on a bicycle pedaling. No, I always like it a little shorter. Like I like 6 to 9 feet. The 12 doesn't work for me.
The 12 doesn't work, I don't think, anywhere, really. I mean, it's more of a subdivision type thing because those guys got to smash that house,
Yeah.
real quick.
But back to Lutron, their screwless plates, I don't like them because you still get the side. So you still see that groove.
You don't like the design of them.
Yeah, well, it's just that groove on the side.
Yeah.
So they've got rid of the screws,
They
but
got
there's
rid of
still
the
a
screws.
slit all the way around the
A
whole
little
perimeter on
reveal.
the side.
Yeah.
Versus Cooper, which is Eaton, I think.
Yeah. Cooper, it clicks on. I know
Clicks on and you get a complete
That's
clean
right.
side.
That's right.
Right? And I don't know how else. And then you start getting into the Italian one, which is Buffy, or no, the ones that are basically integrated into the drywall. They're basically plateless.
Those I've never installed.
Those you have to actually line up. Everything has to be bang on perfect. Else, you're screwed when the finishing, right? So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of different versions.
So when you're doing your work, do you usually use like a laser, or are you just doing your arm? Because I know a lot of guys don't even use measuring tapes; they just use their fist and their elbow for heights.
I point. No. We still. I mean, obviously, certain jobs obviously have details, right? So we follow those. For the most part, it's 12 inches for the plugs off the
ground, from the
off
bottom?
the ground to
Okay.
the bottom of it,
off
and
the
then
subfloor.
off the subfloor.
That's minimum.
That's usually what we do, and then 44 inches for the switches.
Is that the most comfortable you find that?
Yeah.
That
you
kinda
don't want
suits
you don't want
everybody?
you don't want the plug too high either.
Why is it that ESA is asking us to put in-floor thermostats at 60? Is it 60?
That I've never run across.
So they're higher than actual switches.
Well,
height.
they should be a little bit higher. We usually mount them a bit higher.
They want them at eye level of the average person.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they're programmable,
But it screws
right?
up the
Get
whole
it?
design,
He
right?
could see that.
Well, they're programmable. I don't know about the height, but you should be about at least 5.
No, code-wise, right? But now
don't know if there's a code,
you
but-
guys are getting involved in in-floor heating now.
And floor heating is an electrical thing.
Exactly. It wasn't in the beginning.
I think it's always been. I think it's more of a gray area. The tile guy likes doing it.
So now you guys have to, according to the code.
According to code, yeah.
And the inspector has to inspect it before it's embedded. Or actually, you have to see the test numbers, make sure that there's the 3, there's the sheathing hasn't been broken, the actual current is there, and there's a third one. I can't remember.
And you're supposed to measure it before you take it out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, they got
and then
testers for it.
Yeah.
Or they got that little alarm thing. Newly
Yeah.
has it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure other companies have as well.
But then
Where
the
you-
inspectors have to come in and see that stuff, and then they have to see it before it gets embedded, and then they have
That's
to come
right.
in afterwards as well to make
That's
sure
right.
it's good.
And we got to run the conduit in the wall.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what they're asking for. Because
That's right.
in the early days, we were just fishing it through the wall and making a
That's
hole
right.
and bring it through.
And then, I mean, I'm sure something went wrong where there was a fire or something. And then,
What I heard was that there was an elderly gentleman.
Niagara Falls. I think.
Yeah, so the idea was that the person that had installed it never put the sensor. So
Yeah.
he actually kept on cranking it up, and it was at the max, which I think was like at 100 degrees.
Wow.
And he
Are you
fell.
serious?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he fell, landed on the tile, couldn't get back up, and he ended up getting burned
Yeah.
from the heat of the floor.
Get out of here.
That's why I heard.
Yeah,
This is
that
what
went
I
to
heard.
court. That went to court.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what I heard. And then ESA started stepping it
the
up. And,
floor got that hot.
well, you think about an elderly.
That's almost a sauna.
An elderly gentleman's
A whirlpool's
skin,
106.
a face of an elderly gentleman. You got to think about how thin it is.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
no
he
more
passed
pro-
out or something.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, there's no more protein left in his skin.
So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So that's why they got.
Yeah, that's
involved.
pretty hot, actually. It's kind of dangerous.
That is
Yeah.
hot. It's nice and toasty on the feet when you walk in there. But where if you were to fall and your face is right there? That's hot.
Falling and I can't get up.
Here we go. Okay, so now we got to do another segment.
The building code talk with Manny.
I thought we actually do building code, but we're going to do
What?
a Canadian electrical code. This is good old ESA. See how good you are at this. We've actually talked about a few things here. Can you tell me when it was first published?
Somewhere in the beginning of this century there. I would assume.
You're pretty close. Canadian Electrical Code was published in 1927.
Okay, I thought
It
we
is
had a bit
currently on the 24th edition, which was published in 2018. 24th edition. How much is an electrical permit in Ontario? ESA's fees vary depending on the type of work, but what is the minimum for wiring one installation?
This
On a
is good.
permit.
This is actually interesting.
I would say probably. I know every piece of equipment is $50, so I'd say 70, 80.
Look at that, $79.
Yeah.
So you're saying
To-
that
to get one
anywhere in the
receptacle-
province of Ontario in
to
Canada,
get,
not in the States.
to get one receptacle or one fixture or whatever is $79 for a
But
permit.
if you get 10, it's still
No, the permit increases
It
okay.
increases.
By how much though?
per piece.
80.
I don't know if it's 80.
No, it's not. If you do like a stove, that's 50.
So that's a minimum,
yeah,
which is one item.
yeah. Pieces of equipment go up by $50. So you got a stove, that's 50. You got two stoves, that's 100. You got an AC, that thing. It starts to
Yeah.
add up.
So how much typically?
Hang on a
Sorry,
sec. I'm not done.
Okay. No, I just figured since we're
Look
there.
through the page,
This is
man.
a good one, Manny. I'm actually really interested in this one.
Can the homeowner do their own electrical?
Yes.
That's correct. Homeowners are allowed to do their own electrical. It's their own castle
But
domain.
as long as an inspector closes
Correct.
before closing it up, gets passed.
How many outlets can be on one 15 amp breaker?
12.
So he generally says 8 to 10 outlets on a 15 amp, but not all are all used at the same time. Lights and outlets are normally wired on separate branch circuits, which means that the lights will be protected by a separate circuit breaker to the one which protects the outlets. Can I add an outlet without a permit?
This is a good one.
No.
Correct. You'll need a permit to perform any extensive electrical work in your home, including installing a new outlet.
But that shouldn't deter
Running
people.
electrical wire?
But that shouldn't deter people because inspectors don't always show up and they can pass it over the phone, right?
Yeah.
That, we can get into that talking about it, right? How many outlets can one GFI protect?
It depends where it is. About 12.
So they're saying a standard GFI will protect up to 20 amps drawn from any combination of receptacles, either the built-in one or any number of additional ones connected to its load terminals.
Yeah.
So as long as you keep the numbers below that,
Yeah.
then that's how many you can get. And that was...
History. Yeah, sorry, I got excited there. I was writing and then I looked up at you. Building codes on with Manny. And that was historical, though.
We are talking
Actually, that was really good. I really enjoyed that.
You like them all every week, man.
You had me writing stuff down. I was like,
We are talking
Surprise
to
attack.
Mario, and licensed electrician, and you can find him at electrical_local_69.
hey, by the way, I love Local 69. My kind of guy.
Is that the number? Is that the official number?
Yeah, that started off as a joke, man. Way
Got
back
it.
in the day.
Yeah, I've done it a few times myself.
Way back in the day. Yeah. We used to do a lot of work when I was doing concrete in Hamilton, and that's a huge union city there. So a lot of guys would be like, "Oh, you guys union?" And we'd be like, "No." They're like, "Oh," and then they would start off, the union is this, the union is that, right? So then it was just too much, right? So I found it easier to just be like, "Yeah, we're union," and then it started, "Oh, what local you guys part?" So I'm like, "Local 69." But the best part was the guys that would be like, "Oh, how's the benefits? How's that?" And then like you're having a 5-minute conversation, and then you can tell when they clue into it. That was the best part.
There used to be another one too. You would say a Local 72, and they would say what? And you'd be say 69, but you owe me for the difference of the 72 to the 69.
All right, let's get back into it. What else do we want to talk about?
Well, wait a second. I want to go back to that whole. You kind of stopped me there because you were going on with that amazing building code
History?
No, the building code. How much does a permit in a brand new house cost? And it kind of separated into a renovation. If I'm doing a renovation, what would a permit cost for a renovation typically? For a whole house and just for a renovation?
Yeah, I probably would say around $300-400. It depends, right? Like if you're doing a 200 amp service, a 400 amp service, how big the house is, what's going in the house, right? Saunas, pools, all that is going to add to the cost of the permit, right? So I can run you $500, But typically you're probably like $300-400 is a good number, right?
Where do these permit fees go? What are they covering? They're covering the inspection, they're covering the paperwork, the documentation,
ESA, I guess,
all that stuff, right?
Well, I want to talk about something even more important than where the money goes. The most important part about the permit is that if you do have a mortgage, which most of us do, you can't do any work on your house when you owe money to the bank. Because if you don't pull a permit and they find out that there's a fire or water damage to a fire, automatically you lose your house and your mortgage.
This is an insurance
because the bank owns your house. So the minute that you don't pull a permit and something illegal happens, the bank has the right to take your biggest investment away from you.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. So if you don't pull a permit and you have a fire and they find out, the bank automatically can seize your house and kick you out and take over. That's like the worst case scenario.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's how important it is for permits. That's what I'm trying to basically get at.
No. I've always said permits.
It's so
Yeah,
easy.
no.
You get a permit, you put it on the window, no one can mess
I've
with
always
you.
said permits. Like even when we're doing the bunkie, we're doing a permit.
Listen, if you're doing a renovation and you can't afford $300 or $600 on a permit, you shouldn't be doing the renovation.
That's right.
That's what it comes down to.
So why is it that some electricians can actually get it phoned in? Is that because you guys have such a great history with the permit?
Yeah, they have different classes, right? So certain things you can get phoned in, not
everything.
Not everything. Yeah.
Like
And then
what kinds of things can you get phoned in?
You can just inspections are a little bit easier. Panel changes are a little bit easier. Like the hydro can connect without the inspector coming out to see it, which is a bonus, right? You don't have to stick there all day waiting for the inspector. You can kind of move on. So things like that.
And I guess that you have a great rapport when you say local 69.
That's right.
They're like, I know who that is. Pass them. One thing that I always see, many things I see, but let's talk about staples. How far apart should staples be on your Romex? Because I see loose wires all over the house.
What is the rule? You have to be within
What's the
12
minimum
inches of the
code?
box?
12 inches within the box. There's actually a rule too of how much wire you can have looped around the box.
10 inches, right?
Honestly, I'm not really sure.
I don't think it's that much, man.
I was always told 10 inches extra.
Yeah,
in case you have to clip a couple times.
A couple times. There's always that odd change of moving things around. So depending on the house.
So
you need a
12
little bit of
inches
slack.
from the box, there should be one staple.
That's right.
And how often apart as going up like a 2x4?
I thought it was every 4.
To be honest, I don't really pay too much attention to the exact measurement, right? It's about making it look neat.
Yes.
Straightening out your wire, making it look neat. If it needs 2 staples, it needs 2. If it needs 4, it needs 4, right?
Okay. So there is no minimum code on that.
Well, I'm sure there's always going to be a minimum code, but you can't just minimum code isn't really good to follow for certain things, right? You got to make sure the job is clean, and especially like in a home that's going to be spray foamed. If you don't have that wire nice and stapled, when you come back, that plug's not going to work, right? Because the spray foam pushes everything out, and the guy just comes and
they'll
cuts.
cut it and they'll cut the wire.
Do you ever recommend to the homeowner or the contractor to put more conduit in for the future if they're spray foaming?
Yeah, it's always good. Depends on the house. It's always good to at least bring something out to the backyard.
Yeah, or even to the basement.
If the basement isn't finished, or if it's a big home, one from the panel up to the attic at least. That never hurts. I mean, you just run some core line up there. It's not that expensive.
Why is it that some electricians will just create a spaghetti factory by the panel and not take the time to actually clip everything straight, label everything properly with letters that I can read?
Yeah, on the panel, you mean?
On the panel, yeah. Why is it like I'm used to guys with a Sharpie writing each wire,
or a nice sticker typed up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have this little machine. I just type it in and it prints off a little sticker and I put it on.
Look how fancy you are, blue collar boy.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We print out a label with the company logo.
Yeah, it's $50, man.
Whatever. I mean, but at least somebody else goes there, that homeowner sells, or somebody else goes there.
They know.
There's your phone numbers there when there's an emergency, right?
Yeah.
So it's good advertising, and it doesnn't take that long.
I've always said that it basically takes as long to create a spaghetti as it does to create a nice
Or
and
sometimes it takes you longer to make a mess than it does to do it.
Is that true? Really?
Time.
Yeah. Because you
I
don't
think
care.
so.
You're just pulling all kind of wire.
No. I'm saying it's to make a mess. Sometimes it's more work than just to do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Because you leave a mess and now you go back and now it's like, what happened here? It's going to.
Where do you finish? Where do you start and where do you finish?
Let's get outside because I know that more and more homeowners, man, pot lights in all the soffits,
bars.
All kinds of stuff, accent lighting, tree lighting, all kinds of stuff. Like, I mean, are you guys doing hardwire? Are you guys doing low voltage with transformers going around, or like
for landscaping?
For landscaping,
I like low voltage all the way.
All low voltage,
yeah.
Waterproof, and that's it.
You can get away with, don't have to follow the electrical rules. Right?
Oh, why?
It's not voltage, right? You don't have to go the 18 inches.
Is it true
the wire
that
is different?
I heard you could actually low voltage an entire house. Is that true?
I don't think so. I wouldn't know how.
I heard one person actually doing a low voltage in the entire house and just running lines. Like he created it as if it was like, those
He'd have
troughs.
to have a manifold of some kind.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So you had those troughs on each floor where you ran all the lines of low voltage going to each fixture. He just wanted to do everything low voltage and go from that. And I was like, that's interesting, but I don't know how legal that was.
And what would be
You
the
mean
purpose
for lighting?
of that?
For lighting.
All for lighting.
Yeah, we've done that.
Really?
Yeah. The whole house was LED, drivers in the basement, the room.
Drivers everywhere.
Everything was in the basement. The room was, the size of this room.
But doesn't that affect like? So the other day, someone was selling a house and they wanted me to do some quick touch ups in their place. Their transformers all blew in the ceiling, and they just thought it was the LED puck. Now you'd have to go all the way down the basement and try to source that out. Isn't that more difficult?
I mean, it depends what you mean by difficult, right? I mean, it's you're going to have to change the part that's defective, right? I mean, obviously, changing a light bulb is always going to be easier than either figuring out if the LED fixture or the driver is gone, right?
Right.
Obviously, you don't get that driver at Home Depot, right? So like a bulb, you go to Home Depot or whatever, you grab a bulb, you put it back in. So there's a bit more work involved. I believe in the particular house that I'm referring to, it was for health purposes. He didn't want the harmonics and that sort of thing.
Oh, so we're going to, I want to talk about that. So are we talking about EMF, electromagnetic field?
Yeah. He had, I can't remember the disease that he had.
So I've heard that a lot of people, MS.
Yeah, that's it.
Wait. I want to hear this because I have some friends that have this.
There's a whole thing that I've spoken to a bunch of guys regarding EMF. Now, EMF is electromagnetic field. Every single home has an electromagnetic field because we create it.
From outside also.
By bringing out, it's all over the planet, right? That's how it works.
It's running through our
That's
head.
how pigeons get around. They use it, right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, you bring the power into the house, you create this electromagnetic field inside your house. But people that have certain conditions like MS, there's other ones as well. Also, I've heard of pregnancy, women that are pregnant, it affects them as well too.
In what way?
It does something to your brain and your wiring. It affects
the way you move and walk.
So it just got something. Now, some guys, I've spoken to guys that are on home automation. I've spoken to guys that are electricians. I've spoken to all kinds of guys. Most guys in construction, I would say 99% of them, they think it's all snake oil. They don't necessarily believe it. But there's no conclusive proof that, first of all, the electromagnetic field in your house does not cause cancer.
Okay, but
that's what they're talking about.
You did. I remember one of the first houses you did.
Yeah,
you did a whole bunch of testing.
We did the lead.
And what was the testing?
So we did lead painting. The testing the testing was stupid because he came in to test a house that had no power in it. Electromagnetic field is created when there's power inside the house. So he discovered that there was a field or there was actual current from the neighboring house. And it was coming from the neighboring house, and it was coming from the neighboring transformers that are powering all the other houses. The issue is that you'll always find politicians will not get rid of cell phone towers. Cell phone towers contribute to EMF.
That's right.
When you're in a neighborhood and you've got big cell phone companies paying for a lot of stuff that's going on and everybody's consuming cell phones and not home phones anymore, how do you get rid of cell phone towers? My problem was that if you try to create your home to be perfectly EMF free, the moment you step outside, and back to Tesla, they're the worst.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because you're in a bath of electromagnetic field.
And that's not good for us, right?
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And it's not good for you. They say that it's been contributing to, regarding men, it's testicular cancer. Regarding women, it's breast cancer. There's also some brain MS. There's one of them. There's a bunch of them. But there's no conclusive scientific proof regarding this. But a lot of people are believing it.
But the same thing happened
I don't know.
How old are you now? By
38.
You're really young still. When I was growing up, we had huge stereo systems in our cars, and I had to split those frequencies, the speaker wires from my RACAs and my
you get
trigger
interference.
Yeah, obviously a Tesla's got to be horrible. It's got to be horrible for your brain and body.
Just don't tell that to Elon.
I don't think he cares.
It goes back to the 5G.
You're going back to that world, right?
Yeah.
But so what have you guys gone down that EMF road? Have you guys done?
Like I said, we've done one house like that. Sometimes, there's people that don't want the plugs next to bed because they don't want their phones charged.
That's big. Do not charge your phones by your head while you sleep.
That's great for relationships.
That's great for relationships.
It saves relationships not having a phone by the bed.
In case the side texts you?
No, no, that could be good. That could turn around and be good,
Yeah, it depends how the wife takes it. Yeah.
Who is texting you at this hour?
The other day, someone said to me, I asked my husband if they would have another person join us. No, because people are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. They're, nobody's spending time with each other. So, like you said, having that separation in a bedroom.
And
is
you're
the most
tuning
important
into couples therapy with Carlito.
And $86 an hour. Just send it to Manny.
But I'm seeing that a lot of homeowners are getting kind of savvy, but there's a lot of mixed information about that. But if it is helping you, if you see that it's helping you, then by all means do it. But you guys have to separate the circuits from the bed.
Yeah, we got
a cutoff switch. Sometimes it's a switch where you actually hit it when you go to sleep, and all the plugs in the house or all the plugs in that room, in that bedroom, are dead.
They're dead. Or sometimes, the parents like to control the plugs for the TV in the kids' room, so they think they can turn them off. Like they got iPads and iPhones.
They got Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the demanding things that clients are asking in these custom homes that you come across?
Well, appliances, right? Like I just installed a cooktop with 60 amps. A cooktop.
Just a cooktop.
Yeah, convection cooktop.
60 amps.
60 amps.
Why so much?
Because convection will boil water in 90 seconds.
Yeah, because you can't.
I have it.
Convection is better than gas.
I know.
You
It's
have
supposed
it.
to.
Yeah.
What the? Really?
Yeah. Marta had to have
You got
it.
an e-bike. You got a convection. You got.
Gotta be hip, man. Gotta be hip. Gotta be a
Loves
hipster.
electricity.
It's
Are you
more
gonna get a
than
Tesla
you know.
too? You gonna get a
No,
Tesla?
I don't believe in the battery and the frequencies and so on. I'm still buzzed out about that. Get it?
No.
I did want to ask you one thing that always comes up. People always say to me, when do you use 15 amp? When do you use 20 amp? And when do you use 25 amp? And what's the separation between them?
25 amp.
Can you explain that a little bit for some of the listeners?
Yeah, 20 amp. You're just going to be using it in the kitchen. You can't really use it anywhere else unless
Laundry?
it's specific.
GFI? No.
It has to be specific. I mean, you could probably get away with it. 20 amp outside of the kitchen. You can't just do. I want 20 amps on in my bedroom and put it in there.
That's not code. They
not
won't
code.
let it.
Only
Now,
because
if
it
you-
won't trip as fast, right?
No, I'm not sure what the reason is. You just can't do it.
Because usually 15 amps trips faster than 20, right?
Yeah, I guess it's just you don't need all that power. I'm not sure what the reason behind the code is, but you can't do it unless you have a window unit. Then you can put in the 20 amp for the window unit, like a dedicated circuit for specifically for
unit.
that. Yeah, for that specific appliance. Or if you have another appliance somewhere,
Then
that
they'll
requires-
approve that.
They'll approve that. Yeah.
Your outlets, are they 15 or 20?
They're 15
Every outlet in a house is 15 except for kitchen.
Yeah.
So what would use 25?
in the house, unless it's something very specific. I mean, in the house is basically going to have your 15, your 20, your 30 for your washing or your dryer, and then you're going to have your 40 all the way up to 60, depending what type of stove or oven or cooktop, whatever you have.
What's the furnace use? A 15?
15.
15? A garage opener?
15.
It's
unless
still a 15?
again, unless it's something
Jacuzzi?
specific. I mean,
Dedicate. It's a dedicated 15 for the garage.
the garage, you have to just dedicate the garage itself. So the
whole garage
The
itself?
whole garage. Now, there's some openers that are 240 volts.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
The
that's
ones that mount on the
crazy.
side.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those are 240.
Some of them.
I
And
like
why
those
is
ones.
that?
No, that's the way they're built.
They're quieter. I like them.
Quieter.
They're really nice.
With more power running to it.
Yeah.
It's quieter.
You're churning at the source instead of churning it.
Yeah, the door itself is quieter. Yeah,
Yes.
you don't hear it as much because you're using
It's
just the
interesting.
spring, right?
Yes.
As opposed to the chain.
Talk to Joe.
So-
Joe Fernandez.
What is
JR Doors?
What is jacuzzis?
Jacuzzis
Depends on the
anywhere,
size of the jacuzzi.
50 amps, 60 amps.
Okay. And if you were to do a garage, what's your preference to a 2-car garage or a single car garage?
Is it attached to the house?
No, separate from the house.
I probably would put its own panel in there just for
Do a pony panel there.
yeah, just for future.
Yeah.
Make
Makes
it more
sense.
convenience if you ever have to add anything to because if you might always add something to the garage.
What are the codes to putting a pony panel in a house if you don't want to upgrade your main panel?
There's not as long as you do it to code as far as the install goes.
And what is minimum code on that? Is there anything that we should know about?
No, you just got to follow the rules.
What's the distance inside the house where from the time that you penetrate the house to get to your panel, how far away can the panel be? What's the maximum?
5 feet?
It's
5
5
feet
feet?
of wire.
5 feet of wire.
5 feet of wire.
And that's it. You can't push your panel anywhere else.
You can put it anywhere else. You got to protect it. So you can do that via, either a panel with a main breaker. You can put a disconnect switch.
And then run a tech cable all the way
And
to
then
the new panel.
Or you can put the disconnect switch outside. And then now you're free to do whatever you want because it's fused outside and it's protected.
Well,
There's options. There's always options, right? It's just a matter how
How much you want to
cost.
pay?
That's right.
Because it's just more time consuming to do it.
More time consuming, more equipment.
Because most clients will actually want the panel where the hot water tank is, where the boiler is, where everything is, right?
I mean, most of the time the panel always goes where there's no room to put it, right?
Of course.
so I have a trick question for you. If I was getting you to put pot lights up and I need you to put pot light plates up, which way would you put them?
There's only one way.
Yeah.
No, there's 2 ways.
There's
Really?
the right way.
So when you're a when you're a drywall and a painter or a mudder,
Yeah.
you want them to flip
upside
it upside down because when you get the rotor
Yeah.
zip, when you stick it in, it's a smaller hole. So
That's
when
right.
you put the plate over top, it doesn't show the router cut. If you go to 80% of the houses, you'll always see that the drywall always leaves a little notch, and it's an unfinished product because mudders never cover that up.
No,
so
motherfucker.
I just wanted for other contractors, homeowners, and electricians to
Put it
be
upside
courteous for the drywallers and painters and mudders and turn them upside down. That way, we get a nicer, cleaner, tighter cut.
But we can't do that.
Well, if I asked you, you would, right?
No, I mean, electricians and drywallers getting along, that's not going to happen.
So what do you
But we
guys? You
can,
guys
we
put them
can.
down?
I put them down. I mean, again, if I get asked to put them up the other way,
No,
it doesn't make no difference.
I just
for
find
me.
it's a huge inconvenience.
No, I know what you're saying,
And
yeah.
a cosmetic unfinish. It's always happening.
To be honest with you, most of the ones we use nowadays, they're flat anyways.
They are.
They don't have the rim on
They
it.
don't have the rim anymore, yeah.
Okay, that's
but I
good.
know what you're saying, because then you got to do the whole on the outside of the
Yeah.
circle as opposed to the inside.
That's
Of
right.
the circle.
Which
And it
becomes
then
the trim.
Yeah, you always miss out. Yeah, you always cuts
Yeah,
out.
you
That's
cut
actually a good point, man.
You're cutting
Yeah.
almost a 3/16, and if you're awful with that rotosep, you can be cutting at a 1/4 inch. And guys never put the proper filler or tape up. They just
but-
get the CGC, and it always cracks.
You had the same problem when we were using housings in the second floor. It was the same thing most of the time. Like it was, if it's not flush 100%. That's why retrofit pot lights were always nicer, because it gave you that. You had that extra 1/4 inch around the pot
Yeah.
light to cover those mistakes.
That's right.
When are we getting rid of slim lines?
You don't like slim lines?
I hate slim lines.
The
Well,
look?
why don't you explain
The look
some
of it.
lines?
I don't like them because they look cheap.
Have you used the Lunas?
Yeah. I just don't. I want directional. I want to move
Yeah,
it.
the Lunas.
Yeah, so at the architectural series.
Slim
Most
lines
clients
are
are-
made by Lightline.
Yeah.
And they have the 4-inch Lunas, 3-inch Lunas. They're really nice. And
But
they're
I
directional.
just don't like that flat look, because that's what was always used for in showers. It was
That's
always
right.
a waterproof trim or a water resistant trim. But I always prefer, give me options to direct that light. That's what I always prefer. But now I'm seeing a really nice trend, which I'm appreciative of, is the architectural series where you're getting 2, 3, 4 bank lights going in there, right? So you can actually
The
move
rectangulars.
it. Yeah, and I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I know it's more work for you guys because you got to add a driver and you got to add tails for every single one of those.
it's
But it
work
gives
is
the
work.
clients options to direct light in one source. And now you just don't have one pot light, you have 4 pot lights or 3 or 2,
Yeah.
right? I do like those. And they come in either trim setup or trimless. Yeah. Those are nice. But I like the CFL lights. I hated the CFL bulbs. And it was funny how the government finally woke up and realized that there was mercury in that.
Yeah.
And whenever one of those broke, you actually had to treat it like hazmat material.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's a fact.
True story. One
Yeah.
of my friends was trying to fight. I'm not going to say the company because he's still in court with this.
Dun,
He
dun, dun.
worked for a lighting company. They made light bulbs and fluorescent lights and so on. And his spine fused, and he swears that all the results come from mercury, and his only mercury exposure is working at that plant. And
Making those bulbs?
yeah, and he swears that he got so much mercury in him that his spine fused together, and now he can't even he's
It actually
liter-
says on all that packaging, it actually says that there's mercury contents in this and it's
Yeah.
harmful for you.
And every time they burn out half of them, they always burst. Right
Yeah.
at the
Oh,
right at the
yeah.
socket.
Come on,
Yeah.
when we were kids, you know how we were smashing those
Oh,
things.
come on, the tubes.
Going by a garbage can, kaboom.
Yeah, you got an
tubes.
8-footer when that thing pops.
Oh,
it's like a gun.
I know.
Yeah.
That was gold to find an 8-footer.
Yeah, now I'm thinking,
like a
holy
sword.
cow!
It's a sword.
Thank God when I broke it, I ran.
Did you?
Yeah,
You're like,
but I was polluting, but I didn't know any better, right? Because they weren't disposing of it. So,
yeah, back in the day, you recycled them in the garbage bin, right?
yeah,
In the back of the building.
So
what do you guys- what
why
do you-
is it that LED lights they say that they last 50 years, but how do we know that they last 50 years? Because I've actually had bulbs
Nothing.
before die less like 5-6
Nothing
years.
lasts 50 years.
No. So
No,
what
they're
is what is the
designed to
norm?
fail.
What is the norm of a LED bulb?
It depends. Depends, obviously, quality. Heat, right? Heat is what kills them.
Heat
right?
is the killer.
That's right.
Everyone still has to understand that LED still emits some heat.
Yeah.
Not like a halogen where you can cook an egg on it, but it still emits some heat.
Yeah, it still does. I mean, low voltage lighting is still the best lighting. I mean,
I love low voltage,
We can't use it now because it's 50 watt, 75 watt lamp. No one,
They don't do
LED is like 9 watts
with all the drivers.
Yeah, you can't go back.
I know, but
right?
you got the drivers on top of driver. Then you got to do the math, and you got to calculate what the wattage is
Yeah.
on each driver. Then you got to figure out what if you're using strip lighting, what the wattage is per foot. Sometimes some companies come in per meter per
Yeah,
foot.
yeah.
You're getting me
Then
tired already.
You
Yeah.
got it's math. You have to calculate how much.
the tape light is. It's a little hard because first of all, there's nothing. It doesn't say anything on the tape.
No,
light.
it's all on
tape
the piece of paper that you threw out of the
That's
box.
right. Or if you even get a piece of paper, right? But I mean, you can do a lot of cool things with tape.
Oh,
light,
I
right?
love tape lighting,
Yeah.
dude. I'm huge on it, man. I want to do more with it.
I just found out you can do a recessed channel now on drywall.
Yes.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone's selling a channel. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Von
Who
Electric.
is that?
I mean, if we're going to do a plug or something.
Do
Go
a
ahead.
plug. I love plugs.
You get it?
Especially hair plugs.
Yeah,
I get it. Plugs.
Electrical plugs.
I haven't done that. I haven't installed one of those, but I'm kind of. I might just do it in my house just to see how it looks.
So that's pretty cool. Who's the company that's doing that?
I saw it on Instagram. I know Vaughn Electric sells it.
They sell it.
I saw an electric.
It's not
I saw
Trimtex,
another
is it?
contract.
It's not Trimtex.
I don't think it comes from Trimtex.
Yeah, they're not good enough
I
to
thought
do that.
Trimtex. That's how I started this whole
Such
thing.
a mean
I reached
guy.
out to Trimtex to see if they did it.
They don't. They'll probably copy it.
Yeah, which is kind of
Here
weird
he
why
goes
they would do
again.
it.
Don Cherry.
I'm not a fan of Trimtex.
I am.
Well, I'm not
That's why you're on
I
that
don't
side
use
of the
them.
fucking
Yeah, I
table.
don't use them, so it doesn't matter to me. But anyways, back to that.
You use whatever you like that works for the client.
Yeah,
And I will too.
Well, I just don't install Trimtex. But the trimless thing is pretty cool, or the recessed.
I do. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That makes a lot.
Is
And
it easy for electricians to install?
Well, I think you would still need a drywaller to do it because you
Okay.
got to mud it in.
That's a good sign. I like that.
Yeah.
you know what I'm liking about
So
all
we
this
would
stuff?
have to work together at some
Yeah,
point.
that's why I'm liking all this stuff. The harder they make electrical to look seamless and blend in, the more electricians have to get along with drywallers and vice versa, and they have to get along with trim guys and carpenters and everything like that. I like that. Gone are the days where one trade comes in,
I'm glad
makes
you
a
like
hole.
something finally.
Yeah, where one trade doesn't
We're
talk
getting
to the other
somewhere,
trade.
guys.
Exactly, right?
No, you got to get along with.
Hang on, let me
everybody.
move some of these peanuts here.
Yeah, usually Manny's throwing bananas at people.
All right, I think it's time for...
No, it's not. Okay. So it's Green Book talk
Yes.
time.
How,
So
how well informed are you with the Green Book?
Not well.
Trust me, all of us are not.
you know what? We're,
All
on
of us
the,
are
we're
not.
all on the same page. Get
That's
it?
the book
Same
that
page?
hangs on the wall somewhere.
It's over there.
You know what? We're practicing it. We're preaching it, and
it's
hopefully,
good to know.
Hopefully, it makes a difference.
Tell us what's going on in Green
So-
Book Talk today, Carlito.
We're going to pick something here nice.
Is it a nice Shiraz Cabernet?
Yeah, let's pick this. I couldn't find anything electrical. Sorry, I've been so busy I haven't been able to get anything. Okay, employer failing to ensure that written training and instruction record is prepared on site.
This is a new one.
What is the penalty or the fee for first offense under section 26.2-2?
$500.
You?
Want me to give you an answer?
Yeah, you love this part.
I'm going to say $550.
The guy sleeps with these books, by the way.
$550.
Manny, you're right, and you were very close. So prize goes to both of you. $550 and first
500
offense.
is the starting for almost all fines.
Exactly. That's why. Most of the fines.
The point of this, the practice of this is, if you have records of your guys or anything that you have to have on your site for an inspector, you should have it there. You shouldn't have it in your car or at home, or
Exactly.
the dog
Exactly.
chewed it up, or
Exactly.
you washed in laundry. By law, you have to have this on site. You got 4 guys working for you. You better have all their WSIB and all their training.
But that
Something
would
could
fall
go
on the
wrong.
contractor, right?
Correct.
On site.
But that should be in the job box at the site.
Yeah.
And everyone should have a job
Like
box.
every trade will submit their paperwork.
Correct.
That's right. If an inspector wants to find something and he wants to pick at you because he doesn't like something about you, this is one of the things he'll choose, right?
Yeah.
And that was Green Book Talk with Carlito.
Wow, thanks, Manny. I'm honored. Do I get a
We're
banana
talking
today?
to... No, you do not get shit. We're talking to Mario. So at electrical_local_69, and it's not actually a union, guys, just to give you a heads
And I
up.
love
Sorry.
the 69. I'll never forget this guy.
Give him a follow. And, okay, what else do we want to touch upon electrical?
You've been talking enough, Manny.
I
It's
haven't
my
spoken
turn.
a single word. I'm looking at the timeline. I'm like, look, it's dead.
Do you do a lot of callbacks or repairs?
No.
Okay. Do you get sent out to do someone else's callbacks and repairs?
Sometimes we do a lot of service.
Okay.
So that could be,
How do you feel, and have you gone back to any houses with pot lights in the ceiling with an attic?
yeah.
And what were the problems you've seen?
Well, sometimes, they used to use the wrong retrofits. 'Cause it hasn't been, it's not that long ago that they started making a retrofit pot light that was vapor tight.
Yeah. So there was always
only been out for a
condensation.
couple
So what
years.
Carlito's getting to...
Is I just find that even with the proper box, if you don't put a bag over top and you don't put the proper amount of insulation, you're going to still get sweating on the bulb and possibly rusting.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a new home, you're always going to put the vapor barrier. I mean, that'd be
you would
hard to
hope
pass
so.
without
You'd
that.
hope so.
It'll be hard to pass, right?
Yeah. What's your feeling about pot lights in attics?
And they're fine. I like pot lights. The more, the better, right?
Because you make money off every single one.
Well, that and some places a fixture doesn't always suit it, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't you-
certain
don't-
places you got to have fixtures, right?
Don't you love that look on the client's face, or I'm assuming designer's face too, when you explain to them that it costs X amount per pot light, and then they can justify that cost, but the moment that you 5 feet away put another pot light, they can't justify that cost for that second pot light and third pot light and fourth pot light. Don't you love that look on that deer in the headlight where you just want to accelerate?
You're going to charge me for that?
What is a going cost? Not holding you on anything.
Yeah. It varies, right?
why
I don't
you
know
ask
the
the
pricing.
And
I
I'm
don't
not
know
just
pricing,
saying your
but
company, but what is an average cost for a pot light install?
You'd probably be looking at $100 to $150. It all depends on the pot light.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
That's what I've paid.
Yeah.
And how do you feel that the new LEDs have 2,000 lumina, 4,000, 6,000? How do you feel about that? And what's the proper lighting, or is that all personal preference?
You mean like the color?
Yeah, and the brightness.
Well, you got
yeah.
lumens and you got Kelvin.
Yeah.
So Kelvin's the color.
Well, let's talk
Kelvin's
about
the color.
that and educate people that don't know the difference.
Every light has, like the sun, Kelvin.
That's right.
The higher the Kelvin count, so if you start getting into the 5,000s, 6,000s, whatever,
That's blue.
The bluer the light.
Yeah.
The lower you start getting into 2,000s to the 3,000s, the warmer the light, right? And that's basically, generally speaking, residential is a warmer, lower Kelvin count. Most people are healthier in a residential area with a warmer light. But there is a shift. If you got a modern home, they'll definitely want it to be more bluer, which is colder, which is used in a commercial application when you walk into a store.
To sell.
It's
Colors look brighter, right?
brighter.
Your eye perceives, like in this room,
Exactly.
this is probably a 4,000. You perceive it to be brighter. Like if you were to put a 3,000 in here with higher lumens, your eye would still perceive that this room is brighter
Correct.
at this color.
Wow, interesting.
Then you've got the lumens, right? So what is an average 60-watt incandescent bulb? What was the lumen counts on that?
600 lumens.
600 lumens, right?
Yeah.
And then they took a while to get LEDs to get anywhere near
Yeah.
600 lumens, right?
Yeah.
So lumens is actually literally the amount of candles
That's right.
that
It's a
are attached
brightness.
to a bulb. Yeah, that's
How
all
you
it
measure
is.
the brightness of it.
Exactly. That's all it is. So you want to look for your particular color temperature, which is the Kelvin, and you want to look for your lumen count.
Yeah. Like I was saying, those lunas that I was mentioning to you.
Yeah.
The newer ones now, you buy one pot light, you can adjust the color temperature
With the driver?
with the driver.
Oh, I like that.
So there, it doesn't hold you down. There isn't that,
Can you range from like...
That's right. You can range, I think, from 27 to 5,000, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
So you can-
3,500 is
Wow.
really nice, actually.
Because I like that a lot, because I don't like being told, here's 2,700, live with it, this is the warm color.
No, the last
But
few-
then you get side lights, you get sconces, you get other fixtures, other families, other brands,
That's right.
and they're like maybe 3,100 or 3,200 and it's slightly off. And I can't stand that the lighting in all one room is different temp.
I just changed one to 5,000 in the shower I just did. And man, I can't believe
It's bright.
how nice it is to
Certain
take a
colors
shower.
but certain colors, like grays, if you hit a 5,000 on like a gray marble, it pops. It looks
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to see the gray, right? If you hit it with a more warm color, it doesn't, it
So
just
would
doesn't
you
look the same.
recommend a higher Kelvin in a kitchen environment?
They say you should go higher in areas that you are more active in,
Like
your kitchen,
Gym.
Bedroom.
bedroom, depending.
So why we always have the
time
lights
of
out?
day.
Depending how long you've been married.
If you're single, you go in the bedroom with bright.
I always like looking. I want to know what's going on.
If you're married, you don't even need pot lights in there. Never mind.
Hey, where'd that bruise come from? I wanted to ask you, what are you hearing about the new LED lights? How good are they for our eyes versus the old technology? Do we have problems ahead?
I don't know, man. It's the same thing we were talking before about the EMF. You get
Is
both
it true?
sides.
Is it not true?
That's
We don't
right.
know, right? Everybody's different.
Yeah.
What's your personal preference? I mean, what's your personal opinion on this? You must hear more than us because you're an electrician.
I don't know if you can fight. Yeah, I mean, can you fight? That's where it's going, right? For you to find the pot light now that's not LED, it's it's a mission, right?
No, the whole industry.
Yeah, to even get anything with a can now, people look at you weird. Like,
yeah, it's true. I don't think they're not. Well, they're making decorative incandescent bulbs where you see the filaments.
Yeah,
and you pay a pretty penny for those
but they're
things.
still LED. They're just different.
That's
design.
true too. They're also,
designs,
but no,
yeah.
but there's actually a shop in Toronto, I think, that does the old school wire, like the old Edison school kind of bulbs. But they're like really like it's 100 lumens. It's strictly decorative.
Yeah, that's for a fixture that you just want to look at that bulb shine. Right?
Correct.
It's not for an everyday application.
What's your minimum charge to a homeowner for a visit for an electrician?
Will you hold it to them?
No.
Yeah, probably a service call, probably $250.
Wow, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah. Well, it's the going rate, right?
I always thought $250 was 4 hours, and a full day would be minimum 5.
I mean, anything after the service call, then you're what, at $90, $100
In piecework, pretty much, right?
Yeah, depending on what the deal is.
Just for the listeners, right?
Yeah.
What to expect when you can't expect anyone to come to work for free.
No.
And take a look at stuff and say,
what?
"Well, that was free."
What?
I mean,
really?
I'm sure there's a lot of people that
There's a lot of people, they expect a lot of freebies for some reason.
Yeah.
What are the most eccentric or coolest things you've ever done or seen in a house with electricity?
With electricity, just light fixtures, Like I've been putting up these light fixtures, man. Like me and another guy, 3 hours to put up a light fixture.
So that's a question because you charge an
crazy.
hourly to actually assemble these light fixtures, right? And then the clients freak out. But they give you 15 boxes with tissue wrapped
crystals that you can't break.
And I'm like, okay, fine. You go hire a monkey to put this together, and that's not a licensed electrician. So that money is well spent.
Yeah. Like I did one that had to glue the fixture, the parts together, where the nut met.
They actually ask you to do that?
Yeah, I tried to bypass it, and it just started falling apart. It would unwind itself somehow.
Some of these light fixtures are insane.
Yeah.
And you can only charge by the hour.
Oh, I know.
Because you guys
Like
don't
3
know.
hours for two guys, yeah.
Most of the time, it's your first time assembling this
yeah,
light
you
fixture.
never
How
do
about
one
this?
of those twice. Yeah.
The homeowner would just say, "Oh, well, we're just going to put a light there," and then they show up with a chandelier, like you guys are talking about, and you're like, "I didn't quote for that."
Yeah, 500-600 pieces.
That's crazy,
No,
man.
but you always, as an electrician, I know all the electricians I've worked with, they've always submitted that finishing cost. Yeah. It's an hourly cost.
I know, but general contractors don't always cover that. And I've seen in my own past, I've had people that I've worked with that have, because they've wanted to go through the contract so fast and they just want to start the job, they forget about the detail and the stipulations behind this. And then a homeowner's got you by the balls, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends
The
on
light
the house,
bulbs?
right?
By the bulbs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
jokes today.
depends on the job, right? Like in the basement, you're not going to have a fixture that's going to take you hours.
No, but the staircase, the dining room, the
Yeah.
kitchen, sometimes in the master
The
bath.
entrance,
Yeah, the entrance. So you're going to have like a 10, like in an average home, you're going to have 10 light fixtures that you guys have to assemble.
If they're going on glass, it always takes you a little bit longer.
It's insane.
What are typical dangerous things that happen in the house that you see regarding accidents and fires?
People putting chandeliers over bathtubs, which are not approved, but every
I
client
know, I fucking hate
wants
that.
them.
I actually like chandeliers.
They do the test. They can't touch it. We're good.
Is that the test?
If you can't touch the light.
So wait a second. Most of my family's like 7 feet, so they can touch anything.
No, you just got to build a taller house.
No, but the ESA code is that you can't have a fixture. You can't.
Yeah.
What is it? 1 meter? You have to be
I'm
1
not sure what it is. We put them all the time. It's never really been an issue.
And the ESA passes.
No,
it?
but you're right. If he's totally right. If you have a ceiling 10 feet, and that's 1 meter.
Nobody's gonna put a chandelier 10 feet over a bathtub.
No, because you always want it like eye level so you can see it. You're almost
Correct.
banging into it as you walk into the
Yeah.
tub. Well,
I
no
like
one
goes
uses
against
the
code.
tub anyway.
How
The
about
tub is for the
how
split.
about like a spitting ball then? There's no
disco
power
ball?
in it.
A
You can
disco
have
ball?
all.
We're going back to the 80s?
I know, man. 70s.
I'm back from them.
Do you watch any of the Renault shows?
Yeah.
Which
I don't
ones?
mind them.
You don't
No,
mind them?
I don't mind them. No, man. I mean, they give you some ideas once in a while.
The door's unlocked there.
I know you don't like them.
Manny's a hater.
Actually,
I'm a lover.
Yeah, my company actually worked in one of them in Toronto there.
Really?
I think it was the Property Brothers.
there.
Man,
there we go.
Now you got me not involved. I
seen
hate
you on
actors.
Homes. Yeah, I've seen you on Homes.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Made me a better person. Manny doesn't want to believe it, but it made me a better person.
Again, like I'm
There's
in the
nobody
trade.
to kiss. I'm not working for anyone anymore. I'm very proud of it, actually.
Yeah, I have a different, like, maybe because I'm in the trade, I'm not, whatever they're saying, I'm not taking it. I understand. Like,
You're not taking it seriously?
I'm not, yeah. When you see a guy doing demo with a $5 pouch and he's clean, you know what I mean? I know that's not true. Like, I get dirty putting my boots and walk into my truck. I'm
Thank you.
dirty.
Wait a second. I never had a $5 pouch, and I was never
No,
clean.
but
basically what
you've seen some shows. I'm not saying all of them. I'm giving it a general.
So Mario, basically what you're saying is
Your guys actually did work, right?
You're
I'm talking
watching
about
it.
other shows.
You're watching it
Thank
just
you.
for pure entertainment.
Pure entertainment, and like I said, I like
that's
to get
what
some
a TV
ideas.
show's about.
Yeah, I get some, the core, and some of the ideas are cool. Now, when they do these giant rentals in 7 days, I mean,
Bullshit.
it doesn't take you 7 days is the first meeting
Bullshit.
for you to figure the things out. Yeah.
So what are some of the electrical things you may have seen on these shows that kind of make your head shake?
Yeah, and then some of them, they use the fear things, like, there's 2 junction boxes in the base. Oh, no, it's gonna... You know what I mean?
I know. I know.
There could be 50 junction boxes in the basement. They're accessible.
I'll tell you the truth. I don't know. As a kid, if you played like treasure games, like you go on treasure hunts, we all as a team would always try to find something wrong. So it's funny you said, "Hey, I found a box! I found a box!"
You open the wall and there's a
wire with the barrettes.
Yeah, and it's
alive.
It's dead. You probably energize it for the show.
No, never done anything like that. Yeah.
But you know what I mean, yeah. So some of them are okay. Other ones, I mean, I don't really get into it. Like I said, some of them I like watching it just for the entertainment of it. Other ones I just don't get into.
Well, that's the whole purpose of it is entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it was real construction.
It is real construction, but it's still entertainment. This is entertainment, and it's real.
No, this is real construction talk, and that's bullshit fucking construction.
You know what?
As pure entertainment.
This is the Manny that I'm used to.
There isn't a show on TV that's real construction right now.
A lot of people don't know, but Manny's middle name is Don
Here we
Cherry.
go. There we go. Those shows suck.
It's like watching the 90-Day Fiancés for relationship advice.
But you know what? But you know what? I would have never got to really meet him if I wasn't on the show. He was like, "Hey, I saw your nose," and I was like,
I
"That
never
was my
said
nose."
that. I
But you
never said
guys,
that.
on your show, you guys actually did the work.
Oh yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Dude,
a lot of these shows.
To tell you the truth, I never worked
just the
harder
host.
anywhere else than I did there.
Yeah.
Like the hours were crazy. Like
but
if
as
I knew what I
a
do
guy
now,
like-
I would have
yeah.
never worked those hours, 6
That's
to
right.
4 in the morning. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Then I'm going home to sleep for an hour or two, and I'm exhausted again.
Yeah, but a guy like, I can tell, I can know the difference, right? Like I said, if you see a guy that's, cleaner, you know certain shows what I'm talking about, right? And nothing against the show. I'm not picking.
Yeah, there's a Magic Racer looking boy that actually doesn't do any work.
But some of them they don't do any work.
Dum.
Basically, they're entertaining it for you, right?
It's
But you
pure entertainment.
That's
It's
right.
not real construction.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something.
All the shows that are currently on right now.
Me and Manny have two different opinions. He hates them. I love them.
Yeah, they're nothing. They're good for the industry.
I'll tell you
I
the
think,
truth.
Overall,
Until I actually got on that show, I never realized that I wasn't learning. I just kept doing the same old things over and over again. And I got an opportunity to talk to people and manufacturers and spend more time talking and learning when I never did that when I was working.
And then some of them have actual, they use real numbers.
Who's using real numbers?
Well, or close enough, right?
I haven't seen one show use real numbers.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen numbers, but not always realistic.
Yeah. Well, but then
So
obviously
back
there's
to
deals,
this
right?
is not real construction.
No, it's real, but the thing is
Yeah,
that
I mean,
people
the
are
homeowner-
donating
a
and
homeowner
volunteering
can't see
Listen,
watch
listen,
this show. and
Those
then expect
shows
to
are
get the
about
same
as
thing.
real as breast implants.
I don't want to get
Okay?
into this,
They're
Manny.
real
This is
on the
very
outside,
personal
but
to
they're
me.
not real on the inside.
But they're still good. To
You know
look
what?
at.
That's pure entertainment. Pure entertainment.
But you know what? But you can also play with them.
Yeah, that's right.
Pure entertainment, and I would never take them serious.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
man.
a homeowner can't look at the show and say, "Okay, this show did it for 50,000, so that's
And
my
they
budget."
do that, and that's
Yeah.
what kills us because you walk in there
Wait.
and they go, "Listen,
Well,
it's not the
Vidal
show's
Sassoon boy
fault.
came in here and he said it actually costs $100 for an electrician to come in here to change a panel."
Well, listen.
Yeah.
First of all, there is no set price in construction.
That's right.
I always say it, and I can actually produce a washroom. I'm not saying it's gorgeous, but I can produce a washroom for $12,000. But
sure
I
you
can
can.
produce an amazing washroom starting to get into the 30s and 40s that it's
100 grand.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's the numbers.
Here's a question for you, Carlito.
Here it goes. He's getting angry.
Would you produce a washroom with anybody from TV right now? Hire them to work with you side by side. Anybody on TV right now. Anybody.
I don't watch TV though.
No.
I don't know
Anybody
who's out
from
there
one of
right
these
now.
shows, would you take anybody from any of these shows, Mario, and actually have them as your second man working with you on a real job site? Would you take anybody from TV right now?
I don't know if I know them
Yeah,
personally
I would.
enough.
No, from the work that you've seen. From the work
there's-
that
Yeah,
you've
I
seen.
would.
Yeah,
you
there's a
would.
couple guys.
Who would you take?
My boy Blake, Daniel Vella. Those are some of the guys I totally respect.
Would you take any of the hosts?
Yeah, you mean host.
I'm talking hosts.
But how do you get a host to work under you?
Would you take any
That's
of the
like
hosts
two alpha
that are
males.
currently on any of the shows right now to come in here and work side by side with you on any project?
I don't even know what shows I've been watching lately.
Would you take the Property Brothers and bring them on you and pull
No.
fucking wire?
No,
Would you?
no.
Would you take Brian Baumler? Would you take Scott McGiffrey? Would you take Mike Holmes? Would you take any of those and work side by side on a real construction right now?
Well, I have.
No. Right now. Not when you were on TV. Right now on a real
have-
job site.
That it's not fair for me to answer this question
Yeah.
because what I don't.
Well,
I-
Mike Holmes, he has a construction company.
Yeah.
But Ballmer, he has.
But what I wanted to get to is that my idea of a show is different than
That's right.
what I did was I'm very proud of, and it was an amazing experience.
Hang on. I
But-
can't see the cue cards.
Sorry. My books just fell. But the thing is that I'm looking for different kind of entertainment now, and I don't see that anymore. Like I don't see what I like. I think because maybe I've advanced in a different way, or my expectations are different now. So I'm just not into it, and that's why I think we're doing something different.
Yeah, I think, when you did it, there was probably, one or two shows on TV, right? You guys.
Yeah.
Well,
probably
there
one
was
of the
Real
first.
Renos first, and then
Yeah.
there was his show
Yeah.
that he was
now
on.
there's 50 of them on TV, right?
Yeah.
So it's flooding.
It's
Some
like-
of them now are doing islands.
It's like seeing 15,000 different
So
versions of Batman.
Yeah,
because there's a
I
bunch
don't
of Jokers.
appreciate it anymore.
That's right.
You know
that's
what I mean?
right.
Like
I'm
it's-
with you on that.
So-
because you can only see
Nobody's
something for
answered
so long,
my
right?
question. I'm going to answer the question. I won't take any of those fucks on my job site, my real job site.
What if
Not
they got
one.
What if they come with bottles of wine?
Nope. I'll take anybody that works in the industry. You work
Yeah.
in the industry. Anybody that's been on this show, they work in the industry. I'll take any. When you meet somebody, you can smell it, you can see it, you can understand it, you can respect it. They work in the industry.
Yeah.
My problem is that these hosts, which I know that I call them reno actors, trademark, they will never be on a real job site. And I would never invite them on my real
but
job site.
it's their job, right? That's all I'm saying.
They're entertaining. They're performers.
Yeah, but it's a show. I mean, the
exactly. So
homeowner-
take it for that.
Yeah.
So if they want to perform, it's no different than watching 90 Day Fiance.
That's right. But the
They're
homeowner
performing.
needs,
You
the
know what?
homeowner needs to understand that it's entertainment. And
It's entertainment. I keep on hearing that it's entertainment. It is. Entertainment is not construction.
But but some of them have physical construction careers and
No,
businesses.
they've monetized. So
Yeah.
for them to monetize, good on them. It's
Yeah.
very business savvy. It's smart. I totally respect that. It's great. They've made money off the construction industry, but I would never, ever take any one of them on my job site to work side by side, pull wire, do this, build that. Not one. That's just me. Neither one of you guys have answered that.
I don't watch TV, man. I don't even have cable, bro.
My cable broke yesterday. I can't
Honestly,
answer.
you know what my cable is actually looking at the customer, and I'm like, what else do you need?
You know what? I should have cracked that bottle of wine.
What about
Manny,
these
don't be
apps
so
now that
angry.
find you work?
I'm sorry, who?
The apps that find you work. What do you
I
think of them?
detest them.
You do?
I'm a really good bullshit detector where I look at things and somebody behind an app, behind a show, behind anything, if their primary motive was to produce a way to monetize an idea, I'm not interested in that.
Okay.
And I know that if I could speak to somebody that's in the construction industry and I'm having a general conversation with them about the construction industry, I know whether or not they're calling bullshit or not. I really know it.
Well, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, but I want to say something.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you the truth. I didn't know Jim Carrick very well. I met him many times, and just recently, us having those two podcasts. Sometimes you don't when you watch television and you don't get to know somebody until you get to know them. Like I'm really have a crazy admiration for Jim Carrey right now, which I never had. Like, yes, I watched the show, and yes, I did enjoy it. One of the best things I liked about it was that it was real, that he was never there. I loved that. I was like, man, if homeowners could figure out that us contractors can't be on the site all the time.
Where are you when you're a GC in a job? How many times are you on the phone? How many times you're in your van driving around?
The only thing
suppliers?
is there's not one job going. There's 3-4 jobs going, and that's real. And you know, I got a lot more respect than I ever did. And you know, I never got to know Jim, and I had an opinion of him from television, but that wasn't something that was, you know, solid yet.
Accurate, yeah.
And as I got to know him and meet him in person and speak to him outside of microphones or TVs, I learned to like really respect the guy. And there's so much to learn, you know. So entertainment can get you lost, but the people are people still.
That's right.
You can find some really great things in people outside of the...
Listen, when you're on the show, I've told you this over and over, and I've expressed it on the podcast. The first couple of seasons of that show that he was on, it was a good show. It was an inspirational show. It was a guy who's coming in to find problems and fix things and do things properly, and was construction related. The problem is that once the sponsorships came in and he was dedicated to just endorsing one particular product over another because there was a paycheck behind it, that's where the credibility got lost for me. And we know that if you're talking to anybody, you're coming in, you're speaking to designers, you're speaking to homeowners, you have your favorites that you like to use. If you prefer an Eaton panel over a Siemens panel or whatever, right? The thing is, but if you're being paid now to push one over the other, that's a different story. Is it really a better product? We all know that tool-wise, we didn't even get into tool with Mario. What the fuck?
We already know. Milwaukee.
No way, man.
Black
Portuguese.
and yellow, man. Black and yellow.
Black and yellow, black. So you do a lot of pictures then.
Why?
You put a lot of pictures on the wall then.
Is everything black and yellow?
Not everything. I'm not going to tell you. I don't know if DeWalt's the best, but for me, the cordless tools, they're the best in my hands.
Thank you. That's all I need to know.
No.
That's truth.
Yeah.
It's true.
But, Milwaukee, the Pack-Out, Milwaukee Spack-Out.
Everyone loves them. And I agree with them. They're great.
There's nothing that compares to it.
They're great.
Their DeWalt's lasers are shit.
Yes.
I use them all the time. I got no
Dude,
problem.
Bosch and Hilti's lasers are amazing.
My Bosch laser is three times older than my DeWalt, and it's still straight.
I've got 3 different lasers from DeWalt. When I go to a site, just so you know,
like in an 8-foot wall, you're already off. But for pot lights, it doesn't
so
matter.
what I do whenever I start a project, all the guys know this. I go and I take one level, I mark a line on the wall, and I check everything to make sure I see what's out and what's not. So, I mean, if it's working, it's worked for me so far. And the truth is, I'm becoming a Makita guy more and more every day.
Their lineup looks pretty good, actually.
Dude, I can't believe it. I just bought the new jigsaw. My buddy Tony introduced me at Manny's site when we were working there. He introduced me to the cordless Makita jigsaw. I can't believe this thing. I love this thing.
They got a pink impact gun, eh? They're the only ones.
The Makita. I know. They sell the pink one, which is really cool.
But you got to get it overseas. You can't get it in Canada.
You got to order it from there to bring it in?
Yeah, man. I've been jonesing for it. $300.
You know why, right? But you know why, right? Nobody's going to steal it.
Oh, I just want to be the only guy with a pink tool.
Nobody was. All my extension cords are pink. I did that 10 years ago.
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't steal the pink one.
Nobody has stolen any of my cords.
No way.
Nobody.
They're embarrassed of the pink? I think that's...
Dinosaurs. We're talking about dinosaurs.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But what's funny is that more and more guys are actually using the pink now. A lot of guys are using pink extension cords.
I would wear a pink hard hat.
So this is what I find interesting. Like, Mario, you're on our 85th show?
Yeah.
85 shows, Carlito.
Man.
Pat on the back, eh? Pat on the back.
That's on the mic.
It's history.
So my point is that all the contractors that we've spoken to, and we talk about tools.
Yeah.
Everybody has their core, but everybody has a selection of a bunch of different things. And it, like you said, and we hear this a lot by guys, it's what works for you.
That's right.
Going back to TV now, who's using what on TV? As far as I know, nobody's
I don't
using,
know. I don't watch anymore.
I know, but as far as I know,
I never did watch.
Nobody is exclusive to one brand.
And most of them are even blurred out, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but that's because of money, right?
So no, you got to question the tool brands. Why aren't they being more committed to people that are on TV.
Probably cheaper just to pay the guy on Instagram to post a couple pictures. With a free tool.
Possibly, but maybe they see that there's no value in putting real tools in entertainers.
Yeah, because the housewife that's watching the show is not going to go buy.
They don't care about those tools.
That's right. They
so
care
they don't
about
care
the kitchen,
about the
color of
entertaining
kitchen.
contractor holding a tool.
No,
they don't care about that. But then you go to Instagram and you see all kinds of real contractors holding all kinds of tools.
But to be honest, nobody cares that drywall dust and wires inside the wall, insulation. They care about the nice looking kitchen.
They do, but I'll always argue with clients for saying, listen, I respect electricians that take a lot of. I respect any trade that takes a lot of effort for stuff that's going to get covered up.
That's right. But what I'm saying is, for TV show purposes, like a nice electrical wall isn't going to.
But I go back to the first season and the second season of the show that he was on. I go back to the first 5 seasons of Real Renos. I go back to This Old House. They only talk about the behind the wall stuff.
Yeah, which
they get into the boiler, they get into the mechanical room, they get into the wiring, they get into structural, they get into all that shit. They get into everything that these entertainers do not get into. I do want to
talk about that. Well, that was one show I did watch, was This Old House, and Bob Vila was an actor.
Yes.
And I thought he was a contractor.
He never denied it.
He never denied it.
He always put respect on the guys that were doing the work.
There's one that on HGTV was a football player, isn't he? Doing Reynolds or whatever.
That's a different story now.
Like I said, it's a show. These guys aren't there because they know how to do construction. They're there because they're good on camera.
Can you repeat that again?
I'm going to stay out of this because...
Again, it's their job, man. I'm not knocking on anybody, right? I watch the show.
You're just fueling the demon over here.
Okay, this has been a very interesting talk.
Wait.
What?
Okay, fine.
What is it time for now, Carlito? What did you want to ask? What did you want to bring up?
There's so much. I'm hoping that we can bring it back and talk a little bit more.
I think that's the lawyer.
We've been canceled.
So
you can't cancel free speech.
Wait a second.
What is it time for?
It's 10 questions.
So Mario, we're going to wrap up the show here. And there was a show that I used to watch called The Inside the Actor Studio with James Lipton. He would interview actors and directors and producers.
You said it was Mr. Dress Up.
No, I did not. And it was a questionnaire that he borrowed from Bernard Prevost and Marcel Proust, and now we're actually using it for the construction life. We're making it more construction relevant. There's 10 questions to ask you, and there's no right or wrong.
That's all right.
First question. What is your favorite construction word?
Fuck.
What is your least favorite construction word?
It can't be done.
Good one. I like
What turns you on in construction?
That look in the customer's eyes when they they see what you did something good, I guess.
That's wicked, man.
Fish something with no damage or something, you know what I mean? Like, wow,
Yeah, that's cool.
What turns you off in construction?
Sloppy workmanship.
Mm-hmm.
Like it.
What is your favorite curse word? A lot of guys have been beating this question. I should just change it to question number 1.
Yeah, it goes back to question number 1. Refer to question 1.
What construction sound or noise do you love?
Because I make it.
What construction sound or noise do you hate?
Actually, man, I don't know if I'm getting old, but I'm starting to use like earplugs now, man.
It's good. It's good.
I love it, bro.
Good.
So drilling.
You are getting old. You're almost up to that
That's
40,
good.
then you're going to be old.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Does it have to be in construction?
Could be anything. What other profession?
General contractor, man.
Right, you want to be a GC?
I would love to build a house.
Wow, you'd love to have all the headaches and possibly not get paid at the very end and get screwed over by a bunch of people?
Well, that's owning a business in general.
Yes.
And callbacks, even if they're not yours.
Yeah, that's a business in general. I'll give you my boss's number. You guys can talk to him next week.
What profession would you not like to do?
Roofer, man.
Really, eh? The heights?
Not the heights. Well, residential roofing isn't so bad, but commercial roofing, the smell of tar, asphalt.
Wow, I love it.
I love that smell.
Man, that gives me a headache.
I love that smell.
Anything with tar, I couldn't do.
And the last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome.
Mario, thank you very much for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having
thank you
me,
so
man.
much for the conversation. And we had a million questions to just bombard you with. And then we had a very interesting civil conversation about the TV shows.
That was not fucking civil at all.
You can find Mario at electrical_local_69. Give him a follow. Reach out to him, DM him, hire him, call him, whatever. Chat with him. Talk to him about it. Ask him about 90-day fiance.
And
Whatever
don't
you like.
fuel the demon over here.
Carlito, when he turns on his phone, he's got 50 messages in there next week.
Sure,
Next
bro.
week. As soon as this goes live.
They can't do anything to us. That's the funny thing.
No, hey, man, opinions
Because
are
you know
opinions,
what?
right?
They don't know which end of the hammer to use.
Well, it's very ginger for me. I have a lot of very
It's very
close,
Marianne for
I
me.
have a very close friends there that I
said,
spent
I'm
a lot
fan,
of time
man.
with, and
I'm a fan.
It's like family to me too.
I take it for what it is, right?
You know,
Like,
sometimes you
it's
gotta let go
entertainment.
of family.
yeah, I've done that with my father.
Oh, here we go. Back to therapy with Carlito.
$86 an hour.
Thank you very much, Mario. We got to get out of here. Carlito. Thank you, Mario. Please give him a follow. Reach out to him. Talk to him. We want to thank you again for being on the show. And at electrical_local_69. It's not a real union, but it could be. Maybe somebody should start it. Get us out of here.
Local 69.